are listening to the Business Casual Podcast, and I'm your host, Carissa from CarissaLene.com.
Hey, what is up, you guys? So I have to share this with you. I think it was hilarious when I heard it, and I think you'll find it funny and a good lesson learned, right? So today I was in the kitchen making me something to eat while my little guy was watching his 30 minutes of Paw Patrol. Now, if you don't know what Paw Patrol is, it is a kids show that's filled with these dogs, right? And these dogs have special talents, and they basically help save their world that they're living in. And they have a human figure that's called, his name is Ryder, and Ryder is basically their owner. He keeps them safe and all that, but they out there and they save the world, right? Their doggy world. And so this show is really cute. I think it's a great show, actually. It's one of the better kids shows on television because, TV ain't all that. Especially, it's not even all that for adults, let alone, little people. But that's another topic for another day. So anywho, on the episode, I'm listening to it because I'm not really watching it, but I'm listening to it, and I hear, the next thing that I heard was, oh no, it's a booby trap. And so right after that, another one of the Paw Patrollers said, oh, I think it's a tripwire. And I bust out laughing. It was so funny. My little guy, he came to me, he said, Mommy, are you okay? Because he literally thought, something was wrong, because all of a sudden I just bust out laughing because it was funny, right? And it's funny because of the whole idea of the tripwire. And I think a lot of people have the same connotation when it comes to tripwires, is that it's a booby trap. It's a booby trap for people. Why would I do that? Like, who in their right mind would create the tripwire and trick people into buying something, for a limited time or at a special discount or whatever the case is, right? And let me just share with you how that is far from the truth, okay? If you ever have the feeling that you're being booby trapped by a tripwire, then you probably are being booby trapped. But honestly, the majority of the ones that I have come across, at least, have been just very ethical tripwires that literally is only there to do a couple things. One is there to go ahead and give you what you want sooner than later, because a lot of times after you have provided something to someone for free, then they are more than likely to go ahead and devour whatever you gave them. They're more than likely to go ahead and see what else you have to offer, to read more blogs, listen to more podcasts, watch more videos. And so if you give them the opportunity to go ahead and purchase their next best thing and get ahead of the curve real quick, then a lot of the times people will go ahead and make that purchase, especially people that are ready to go ahead and do whatever, your offer is promising them. So back up for a second. Really, just to give you just an idea of the tripwire, just think of it as if you are getting, you're going to the grocery store, for instance, right? You go to the grocery store, you get your grocery bag, you get your basket, you go inside the store, and let's say they're offering you something for free. Maybe it's just a free sample of something. Maybe you can taste some of their, new items that they have in store. Maybe they got a little show going on. Like, I know if I go to my Whole Foods stores, they sometimes have Vitamix there to perform a little show for us and give away free smoothies or free soups or whatever they're making in the Vitamix blender. So something like that could be happening, right? So they're giving away these free things, or this free thing, at least one thing for free. And in turn, they say, hey, and now that I got you, or now that you see what Vitamix can do for you, now that you have tasted a great Vitamix smoothie, why don't you go ahead and purchase the Vitamix? Or go ahead, if the Vitamix is too much for you right now, maybe it's not the Vitamix. Maybe it's the Vitamix, cookbook, or maybe it's the, like a smaller version, the mini Vitamix or whatever. But they want you to go ahead and make a purchase right then and there because you can see the power. Like, you've already gotten the taste of it. Now you want to just take that taste and amplify it, right? And multiply it to what you really need, like what you really came here for, because you really know you need another blender and you really want to get that weight loss together. And so I'm going to give you the power of tasting what it may taste it's like to be on your weight loss journey and get your hands on the Vitamix right now, right? So that's the kind of the mindset and the idea of like the Tripwire. You basically just giving your audience what they want sooner rather than later. And as someone who is a looker or someone who's in your audience that's potentially interested in what you have to offer, so they will be piqued at the very least, right? Someone that's very, very, very intrigued and pretty much is considered what would be considered a really hot buyer, they are going to be so piqued that they're going to purchase right then and there because it's an amazing offer. Whether it's a discount, which usually is what it is, whether it's some added bonuses, or it's a limited time offer. I mean, all those things really play into the urgency and the scarcity of the item. So it really helps to get the sale, right? So as a business owner, what you're doing is you're simply just segmenting your subscribers, right? Because now they're subscribed to you. So you're segmenting your audience and subscribers based on those that are really, really, really hot buyers. And I mean, they've skipped cold and warm because they're now ready to buy from you even more things, because once a buyer, always is a buyer, right? So they're already they've already skipped over cold and warm. They've already bought your Tripwire, and now they're ready for the next best thing. So you have a list, you have a subset of your audience that's really, really, really hot and ready to just take it to the next level already. You give them more value, you add on that education, you really pound into them. Not literally pound, but you really just massage. Let's go with massage. You really massage into the problem that they're having and agitate it, and then provide your solution quicker than you would someone who's a cold subscriber, someone who just got your lead magnet, they opted in, and they probably didn't really read it yet, so you have to remind them to read it. And they warm up with you a little bit through emails, and then you educate them some more. You introduce your problem to them. Well, not your problem, but their problem. You put it front and center for them. You go ahead and agitate it. You go ahead and give them some more good stuff, and then you present your solution, right? So that takes a little bit longer than someone who's already bought from you. Because let me say it again, if they have bought from you and they have bought your Tripwire, they have bought your limited time offer that you presented to them right after they have subscribed to you for your lead magnet, then they are more than likely ready to buy your next best thing very soon. Okay, so you don't want to hold them off on getting that next best thing. And I say soon, I mean, soon could be relative, very relative. However, I, highly believe that you should be trying to target them and getting them to take action in the next couple of weeks at the very latest. Okay, think of like a launch, like a basic launch. When you're actually live and you're launching, it's about 2 weeks long. So think of it in that way. And in 2 weeks, you should have them thinking about going ahead to get your next best thing, whatever that next best thing is, and your value ladder for your business. Okay. But I really wanted to kind of share that story and that funny part about Paw Patrol and its idea of tripwires being booby traps, and kind of really just debunk it, because it's a total myth. And I think, of course, there is an industry, or there was a time when tripwires were really considered a tripwire, and they were considered to be that way, to be booby traps. But now, I mean, I know a lot of us have an eye for, just seeing those booby traps front and center. And then there's people like me that, I don't play that when it comes to my business. And I like to be very ethical and be, value driven, and give you the best that I can, as much as I can, for free or for a very low cost offer, before I go ahead and hit you with the whole work with me one-on-one for thousands of dollars, because I know even if it's not thousands of dollars, even if it's just a few $100s, I still hold the same, respects. And so I'm not the only business owner that does that. And so I know I'm not the only business owner that knows that tripwires are not icky. They are totally and highly recommended. I do recommend tripwires. So if you definitely have something that can work with one, I recommend it. And if you definitely are thinking about it, I would say go ahead, as long as it is still presented in a very ethical way. Like I said, if you're going to have, those limited time offers or bonuses added to it, or a price cut, price decrease, discount or whatnot, then you really want to make it very truthful, meaning you don't want to say it's $7 only here for today, and then they can go to your website and give it $7 as well. That's not ethical at all. But if you're truthful about what you mean, then it definitely can work out in your favor, and definitely can work out in your subscribers' favor as well, because now that you've opened up a whole new world. You can target these people based on how they are interacting with your content and how they have, purchased your offers. And that really helps to tailor them and create a nice path for them to go. That's different, because every subscriber's path is different. Essentially you want to group them in light categories, but it's different. You wouldn't talk to someone who purchased your product the same way you talk to someone who needs to purchase your product, right? Two different types of communication that you'll have going on there. So it's really important to have that set up in your email provider, which you can use anyone. MailChimp, MailerLite, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, they all have where you can segment your audiences. So before I go off on a tangent about segmenting audiences, Tripwires are not booby traps. I totally recommend them. You can definitely, hit me up if you have any questions about them. I definitely do, recommend this to my clients and do this myself as well, because it's just powerful stuff. I mean, even if it's a low ball offer like $7, which is like the magic number for most of the Tripwires, that's a great start, and I would start there to start making it happen. All right. So I hope you enjoyed my booby trap that I suckered you into for the past 11 minutes, and I will see you on the next episode.
So that's it. That wraps up today's episode of the Business Casual Podcast. If you loved today's episode, I would so appreciate it if you go on over to iTunes and subscribe and leave a review and a comment to let everyone know how much you enjoyed today's episode and the podcast in general. If you would like to, please share this out with any of your friends on social media. You can always keep up to date with all things the Business Casual Podcast on thebusinesscasualpodcast.com. And if you want to join a fabulous group of new and inspiring business owners, then I highly recommend you join us inside of the Launches Lounge on Facebook, simply by going to thebusinesscasualpodcast.com/community, and I'll meet you there. Don't forget, if you're on Stitcher, rate and review us there. We are hanging out on Stitcher as well. And of course, if you want to be a guest on the show, or if you just want to get your question answered, go to thebusinesscasualpodcast.com/ask, and I will answer your question live on the show. And that's all for today. I'll see you on the next episode of the Business Casual Podcast. Bye, you guys.